But I think it's just time to end the practice of incurring expenditures that require board approval before the board gets to approve them. Putting us in this position of having to pass something just so we can honor our obligations that we've already incurred. So these transfers around are getting large. They're not being discussed or presented to anyone in advance, and I'm just tired of it. So I'm going to vote no, regardless of what anybody does.
Mr. Mesler, were these items brought to the board previously, where we discussed them?
The refunding was approved by the board in January. That was effective, and that was presented by the board. All the other items are new items that haven't been affected. They're budget amendments. They will affect the future, not the past. The only one that is of that kind is the refunding, which is a PFC. All the other ones are budget amendments that will go for the future. Basically, we received a grant and we need to amend the budget for the future. So I don't understand bringing them prior. I mean, they are being brought prior. They're all prior.
Well, just a few minutes ago, you said that you weren't going to be able to make payments unless we passed this.
Right, that's correct. Because
so you've already obligated us for the payments and we haven't passed it yet.
I move to call the question.
It takes a 2/3 vote to call the question.
Okay, we have a request to call the question. All those in favor, raise your hand. Opposed? Okay, so,
Discussion may continue.
all right, so my question to you is, the things that we're voting on, or we're asked to vote on this today, partial of the vote would, of the item was done in January. But then there are things that are new, and we've had this discussion before where there have been things that I voted against, and then later on they come back and they're lumped in with something else, and I can't vote for that because it's lumped in with something else. I think that's always been a problem, where we're combining things that were approved with things that haven't been approved. And so that's a problem. I see that as a problem right now, that with what y'all have brought up.
Yeah, but I want to clarify that I don't think that the fact that this is the refunding is on here is of any importance, because it has previously been approved, and it's really on here for information purposes only.
Well, all the other amendments will bring back in September, but we cannot commit expenditures until the budget is there. So I'll give you an example on the $449,000, and this is a grant for adult education. So if the division wants to start spending that money, we cannot allow them to spend because the amendment has not been keyed into our system. Therefore, we cannot allow POs to be processed.
Was there a previous vote on the grant?
On the main grant, yes. This is an extension of the grant. This is a September, if I'm correct, Dr. Arnold, an extension of the grant for the month of September. And there's an agenda item on the later on the agenda that basically allows for the extension of the grant. And so I'm basically following the appropriation of that grant into our books so that we can incorporate the budget for that grant that we just received. So, I mean, we can bring it back in September, but it is going to delay our operations because the divisions will submit requests for to extend, and we will hold them because there is no money in the line item, therefore they cannot proceed with commitments.
Well, if it's really important, we can have an emergency meeting.
Can I move to table this?
Requires a
Move to
second.
table
We're gonna
this.
have to vote on
Requires a second and isn't
it.
debatable.
It's already got a motion.
We have an amended motion that we have not voted on.
Correct.
Okay, so,
Well, I think we should withdraw the amended motion and just go on the original motion.
I'll withdraw the amended motion.
and now I move to table this.
You may move to table it, it requires a second.
Okay.
Motion isn't debatable. So you can request a vote.
Okay, all right, we have a motion and a second to table. Is there any discussion?
No discussion.
No
No
discussion,
discussion.
okay. I call for a vote to table this until later, so I'll signify by saying, raising of hands. Okay, that's 2 opposed, 2, and council.
So the motion to table fails because of the split vote. The equal vote means the motion fails, so you go back to the original.
Okay, so back to the original motion. All those in favor of, we have a motion and a second on this budget. All those in favor of the monthly budget amendment report signify by saying aye or raising hands. Opposed? Okay, motion fails. Okay, so we move on to 6C